Well, I'm trying this time slot. Don't know whether it's going to work or not, but I'll have to play around to see what is a good spot for me to do these live things. Yesterday was really a warm spring day. Temperature turned by 30 degrees Celsius. And today started off well, and then by around about 11 o'clock it started cooling down. And tonight I've got a jacket on. But that's typical at the turn of the season, up and down. The thing that I want to talk about tonight is this story about Yemen. I have done a Skidmark that will be published tomorrow on Yemen. And I saw this post earlier this evening, where France is apparently getting gas from Yemen, or so Macron says. And then I went and I had a closer look at it, and I dug up an article, and it was actually fucking annoying to read the article. The headline is, "The West is poised to throw Yemen under the bus again to fuel its economic war on Russia. France is ready to destroy the country's ceasefire in a bid to secure energy." And the ceasefire they're talking about is a ceasefire in Yemen. Strained by the consequences of the ongoing conflict between NATO and Russia over Ukraine, France may be destroying all prospects for peace in Yemen in a bid to secure energy resources from the United Arab Emirates. Take note, United Arab Emirates. What the hell is the UAE to do with Yemen's gas? So what does that mean for the nation that has suffered the worst humanitarian crisis in modern history, according to the UN? Well, the big thing is this. The UAE has also taken hold of some of Yemen's assets. So between Saudi and the UAE, they are taking all the Yemeni oil and gas, basically. And then in the article that I read, it says, it's unlikely that Ansar Allah will stay silent if the SDC are aiding in the theft of Yemen's resources for the sake of France. One of the major reasons behind the dramatic escalation of violence last year was Ansar Allah offensive launched with the aim of taking out the last northern stronghold of the Saudi-led coalition, Marib. The purpose of taking the resource-rich area would be to stop the looting of Yemen's resources, which according to reports is amounting to the theft of millions of barrels per year. Some sources claim that the unofficial agreement is in place between the US and Saudi governments to purposefully keep the resources of Yemen away from its people and instead divert the profits to Saudi banks. And there you have it again. The United Snakes of America stealing the assets of that impoverished country that has been bombed out of their minds by the West, by NATO and the Saudis. Part of the reason why there was a Yemeni revolution in 2011, then a seizure of power in 2015 by the Ansar Allah in conjunction with the country's military, was the popular belief that the past two presidents of Yemen, Ali Abdullah Saleh and Abrabu Mansour Hadi, were corrupt. The people of Yemen were fed up with Saleh for a multitude of reasons, primarily that he mismanaged resources, has sold out to the United States, and was corrupt. President Hadi was later to be seen as a stooge controlled completely by the Saudis. Perhaps the biggest problem here, however, is not just that Yemen is a resource-rich country with a starving population being torn apart by foreign powers, but also that nobody even knows what their governments are involved in. On August 25, the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson stated about rising energy bills that while people are paying energy bills, people in Ukraine are paying with blood. Yet it may turn out that for Europe to keep the lights on, the people of Yemen will pay with their blood. Except in this case, the UK, the US, and France can't blame that bloodshed on Moscow. This is their own doing. Gosh, I'm really pissed off with this Yemen story, and I will talk a lot about it. But the fact of the matter is, what they are doing there is absolutely brutal. And, okay, I've got two more snippets for you in this one. This one I found quite interesting. Russian alcohol consumption plummets. Alcohol consumption in Russia has decreased by nearly 43% since 2008. Russian Minister of Health announced on Saturday as the country celebrated National Sobriety Day. An average Russian drank 15.7 liters of booze annually 13 years ago. But last year, this marker stood at only 9 liters. This means that alcohol consumption has dropped by almost 43% between 2008 and 2021. The number of alcohol-related diseases and deaths has also gone down in Russia during the 13-year period, the minister added. This is quite interesting. And I have read some other articles that refer to this, and they said it was basically one of the big reasons is the improvement of living standards of the Russians over this period, and that they are less stressed, and there is more in life for them than boozing now. And then I'm going to end this one tonight with this, let's call it the what the fuck for this one. The average man today, no skills, no hobbies, zero ambition, terrified of women, can't do 10 push-ups, desperate for attention, incapable of eye contact, has testosterone lower than his grandpa. It has never been easier to stand out. The competition is zero. And looking at those points, I have to agree. There is no competition. And on that note, I'm saying good night from Africa. I'm here at the southern tip, and it's approaching midnight. Have a great evening.